outrageousness. I'm not really a fast. I can't get that frog out of my throat.
That's because you're talking negative about Fast 10, bro. That's why. How can you talk about Vin Diesel like that?
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Obliterating social norms and overrunning the cultural corrosion with righteous rhetoric and common sense. This is Overflow, the extended conversation covering life, today's newsbreakers, and the occasional banter with the most interesting members of the human species. Signaling from the conservative chasm of Central Valley, California. It's the outlaws your conscience warned you about. Let's welcome your hosts, Loto and Philville.
What is going on, everybody? It is episode 38. Man, 38, bro. That's quite a feat, man. Praise God. Well, welcome everybody to the show, Philville. Why don't we go ahead and get the drip on what they can expect from this show today, bro?
Pride before a fall. Yep, Pride is continuing this month, and some craziness is happening. We'll also be talking about what's in the headlines when it's regarding to Biden Inc. and how that's impacting. And there are some stone walls taking place from a government agency. Starts with an F, ends with an I. Yes, and then the debt ceiling finally went through, and pros and cons.
All cons.
And then the AR-15 that's being registered possibly. Well, that and a whole lot more here on Overflow.
Awesome.
It's that graduation season. I hear that you've been how many times do you think that song is played when you go to graduation?
A whole lot. It was so funny. I think there was a wedding that they accidentally played a graduation song instead of the Here Comes the Bride.
Here Comes the Bride. That was interesting.
This is a wedding, bro. But yeah, so graduation season, bro. It's end of May, all pretty much throughout June.
Yeah.
We celebrate, these great accomplishments, So yeah, we had an awesome week of graduation. We're almost done, but a shout out to my niece Kalina, to my nephews, Nessie and Mia. Man, they graduated this year. Our family, man, we go big, with our celebrations and when they accomplish, but anything that has to do with education. Education is very important to our family, bro. It's the reason why mom and dad moved us here.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome, man. I got to see my auntie, Lisa from Samoa, and then my grandpa, Pastor Hayward, and all my sisters, man. I just love every time I get to hang out with them. Those times, bro, with family, It's never long enough, so it's always bittersweet because that everybody's going to go home, but looking forward to seeing them more again this summer. Graduation, we had Buchanan. Buchanan last, as of this recording, it was last week, Wednesday. And man, bro, that place, we showed up an hour early and the place was already packed. Now, for those of you that don't know, but Buchanan High School Stadium is actually the biggest stadium here in this area. It's where they actually have the state meet for the track and field. So you've got like thousands and thousands and thousands, seats, and man, the place was packed an hour early. So,
and it's hot out there too.
You know what though, man? Hasn't it been beautiful these last 2 weeks though?
It has, except for yesterday.
Yeah. Well, no, yesterday, but during that graduation ceremony, it was the weather was amazing, man. It was awesome. I know this because we actually went home okay. We just went home tired, not tired and frustrated, because when that heat is up, boy, the temper really drops.
Yes, a lot of people are graduating. I love seeing some of our youth from former youth groups.
You had Gabby. Shout out to Gabby. Yeah. Loudon. Oh, no, yeah, a lot.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that he's a senior.
Yeah, big man on campus.
Yeah, they're doing great. I love seeing from the sidelines.
Max, quite
posts.
A few.
Yeah, then this past week, we finally went out. We've been trying to get caught up in some of these movies. So I know I heard you've probably got some on your belt now, but we've gone back to the movie second time in 1 month. So we this time we saw. No, we're not going to see the Fast 10. I draw the line there with the outrageousness. I'm not really a fast. I can't get that frog out of my throat.
That's because you're talking negative about Fast 10, bro. That's why. How can you talk about Vin Diesel like that?
Drink real quick. Yeah. Now that I'm back from that station break, we're back from the bashing Fast 10. I mean, we're celebrating Fast and Furious. They're going to have a lot of spinoffs
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the last one, but they
No.
supposed to with this cast. They're going to have like, you think? No, they're making billions of dollars. So
So when they signed on Rock, yeah, they've had plans to go like to Fast Gazillion. So
yeah,
and all the different spinoffs. Ty just watched Fast and Furious last night. He said it was pretty good. I think it was Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
that was on it. He said it was pretty dark. It was his character was extremely dark.
Yeah.
But no, he said it was decent. I'm not your biggest Fast 10 fan.
Yeah.
But I get a kick out of just, seeing guys be guys,
Yeah, they were saying that he stole the show, that Vin Diesel was upset that he upstaged him. Nah, if he's the owner of the franchise, pretty much, you could say. I mean, he's celebrating because they're celebrating all the way to the bank, right?
Publicity,
yeah. The feud again. The Rock is back in the franchise, and again, we just mentioned all the spinoffs are going to have. They joked about it, but they actually have hinted they might go a little sci-fi. Besides, they went into space. Yeah, they even talked about time travel. I don't understand that. I don't know how you squeeze time travel. I love time travel. The Fast and the Furious time travel.
I'm laughing because go sci-fi. They've been sci-fi. Like when you have cars
going in space.
Yeah, going to space. Come on.
Yeah.
It's already sci-fi, man. That's the thing that I'm not too much of a fan of, It's like, come on, guys, man. Keep it a little bit realistic, so they've gone sci-fi. Anyways, you watched some sci-fi though.
Yeah. We did watch some sci-fi, but it was a long awaited for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We finally went to go see it. I was kind of hinting, like strong hints. Are we gonna go to the movies like every few hours? Like, are we gonna go? Are we gonna go? Of course, for us as we're having a little toddler, we can't just pick up and go. So we had to get a sitter, and so we had a great actually graduate. She's graduating today as this recording is happening. She was our babysitter. Came shout out to Amaya. But we went in the nice AC out of a hot day out in the sun.
Awesome.
We had a great time. You know what? The Spider-Verse here reporting on CNBC.com. No, 120.5 million opening weekend.
Wow.
Highest debut of 2023 so far.
Okay.
So they're really setting some records. And Tom Holland, if you don't know who Tom Holland
good
is?
dude. Yeah. Good actor. Good
actor. He was a Spider-Man of today of the MCU. He actually gave a shout out to the Spider-Verse franchise because he says this particular movie is the best Spider-Man of all time. That's big coming from Tom Holland. Now, I did see the movie. I need a little time to process to see if I think that, but I fairly enjoyed it. I love the stylistic of the comic book, but it wasn't kiddie, it wasn't corny. It was very the storyline I think made it.
I haven't really followed anything about the movie. This particular one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm tempting a spoiler here, but was Tom Holland in the movie or not in the movie? Because that would make a difference about what he said.
Do you want the spoiler? We can't.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
no, I didn't. Yeah, so obviously he's not in the movie then, right?
Wow.
No. I mean, as far as the promotions and all
the
that.
promotions. That to me was a big stamp of approval promotion right there. But yeah,
no.
Premise.
Premise. Like was he already going to be in the movie? Because I don't know. I haven't followed, so I don't know if he's even starring in the movie or not. But if he's not, don't say nothing. Just
I'll just say in the franchise, they didn't promote in the promotions him being in there.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, did I leave that open at least? But I stand corrected here on the same article. It was the second biggest opening of 2023, just behind Universal's Super Mario Brothers.
Oh man,
yeah. So that was also we saw that here at home.
Yeah, nice.
So it was good. It was a great time. It does make me want to come out of retirement of my pause that I have on action figures. Again, I might have to get one or two or a few dozen or something. But so it was great. If you're looking for a great family movie, it's a great movie to go see. Man,
that's awesome, bro. Only because you're going with Naomi. That's the only reason I'm not picking a bone with you about us not going to do our homework for the show. But man, that's so awesome. I'm so glad you guys are getting to do that. So it was a good show. It is a must see.
Yeah, and a great shout out to my wife Naomi. This week will be her birthday, or she'll be turning 25.
Birthday. Yeah, wow.
So I love it to marry,
that's
married
awesome.
a very young your young woman.
You better get on your hands and knees every day and thank God for her, brother.
Amazing. I am. She's everybody's favorite. I love it.
Praise God. Amen.
But you know what time it is, Lodo? It's Spider-Verse.
I thought it was time to get ill or something like that. Little throwback.
Fast time. No more fast. It's time travel. It's time to take a travel to. It's time for.
It's your news makers and breakers.
So breaking news: House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said as of today that the FBI informant that filed President Biden of $5 million bribery scheme. Well, let's hear a press conference he gave today.
FBI officials confirmed that the unclassified FBI-generated record has not been disproven and is currently being used in an ongoing investigation. The confidential human source who provided information about then Vice President Biden being involved in a criminal bribery scheme is a trusted, highly credible informant who has been used by the FBI for over 10 years and has been paid over 6 figures. These are facts, and no amount of spin and frankly lies from the White House or congressional Democrats can change this information. Americans have lost trust in the FBI's ability to enforce the law impartially and demand answers, transparency, and accountability. The investigation is not dead. This is only the beginning.
This just dropped today as we are recording this. And today is actually the day we thought that the FBI was going to release the documents that Comer and the Congress was asking for under threat of subpoena. Or no, I'm sorry, under threat of contempt of Congress. And Philville, I think we just found out, right, that there's still some stonewalling going on.
Yes, who's stonewalling? That is FBI, of course. In cahoots.
That is wild.
They call them other known as the deep state. Okay, got to get our tinfoil hats on right now because what's happening is becoming to pass. All the crazy conspiracy theories. They're once again just stonewalling the leader and the Congress about what is taking place.
Yeah, so for those of you that are just hearing about this, the Biden bribery scheme, so there's document out there. There was a whistleblower that came and told the Congress, about this bribery scheme, and these documents were going to be proof of it. So they called in Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, asked him for the documents. He refused. So they threatened him with a subpoena, got a subpoena because he still refused. And then he refused some more. So they threatened him with contempt of Congress. Then he said, okay, I'll bring it in. And today was going to be that day. We find out, like Philville just reported, that there is some stonewalling. Now, the thing about these documents, Philville, is it actually is not anything new. This is actually 10 years in the making.
10 years in the making. And everybody's screaming, right? Rightfully so. We want transparency. We want accountability.
Yes.
But like we just said, the article is talking about stonewalling. They're just refusing to cooperate. So if they're refusing, they're hiding something.
Yes.
And it's very apparent.
Yeah. And then the very lead is just like you heard in the press conference today is that, they've had these documents for 10 years, the FBI did, and they have not been able to disprove, or to prove that these are false, accusations. So that's alarming in itself because, again, I think the bribery was up to the tune of $5 million for the Biden family.
10 years. Okay, so think about that. For 10 years, they had this. For 10 years, they've been sitting on this for how many election cycles? There's been other directors, other people been hiding this, right?
Yeah, bro. So
what's his name? The one that was fired from Trump, James Comey.
Oh, James Comey. Yes. Yeah. So James Comey, that whole bit, and then the whole thing with Hillary Clinton. And again, this is so crazy because you talk about a repeat. When Trump started running for president. Remember, right around that time, they were supposed to indict Hillary Clinton. Remember, James Comey, speaking of him, came out and laid out the whole case against Hillary Clinton. And then he dropped a bomb, but we're not going to investigate. We're not going to indict her. We're not going to press any charges, right? Mm-hmm. And so she got away. Now we're getting all this information back. The whole Durham investigation found out that was a false investigation, right?
Yes.
That should have never happened. It was started under a false pretense.
Obama knew too.
Yes, but so they investigated Trump. They investigated Trump for everything that Hillary Clinton should have been indicted for, and now we're starting to see the repeat where if this is all true, there's an investigation that should be going on with a president, except it's not the right president, right? Instead of investigating Joe Biden, these guys want to continue to investigate Trump for more trumped up accusations.
Well, the Senate just voted this past week, to approve the debt ceiling bill over averting defaults. Now, that could cause a big apocalypse in the budget in the book. But, some like Trump were saying we should let it default or not default.
Bro, the thing is about that whole default thing is that's a bigger discussion because, we were told by the treasurer that, the doomsday is June 1st. That was the doomsday. And some Republicans, pushed back and said, wait, can you show us any receipts? Can you show us, our bank sheets, so we can see how critical this is, just like any responsible parent would, right? They want to check the balance, in their banking account and see when the bills are due, because they have to prioritize because we're in debt. We're in debt. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm familiar with debt. I'm super familiar with debt. Yeah. And there's things that you got to do to keep keep things going, so they wanted to take a look. But who's our Secretary of Treasurer? She said that, she refused to show any of the statements. All of a sudden, the doomsday was moved to June 5th. If it was so critical, why was the date moved? So fine, it gave them more time to go with the whole debt ceiling. This thing, Philville, honestly, it's a big mess. They passed it, but if you really look at the debt ceiling, I'm really concerned for the future of our children. I think it said that they're probably going to have around $100,000 debt on them when they're born.
Yeah, that's what I heard about it. 100, 300,000
varying.
And just to remind some of the numbers that 149 Republicans voted for it and 71 voted no. Mm-hmm. I mean, so some are applauding McCarthy's efforts. He brought it across the finish line, or others saying he just compromised and caved to some major issues that even Maria
Bartiromo.
Yeah. Maria Barr. Maria on Sunday. I'll just say Sunday.
Maria
features.
No Holds Bar.
Yeah, she was trying to press him, and he was very slick willy there.
This
just
guy,
kind of getting out of that accountability himself and trying to pass the buck. Speaking of passing the buck, we talked about, are they kicking the can down the road even more?
Yeah, bro. So man, with that whole interview with Maria, I'll be honest, I was almost impressed. It's like, now I know how this guy negotiates. Now I know, how this guy is very persuasive. It's convenient to talk about the future when it's convenient for him, but we shouldn't talk about the future. We should talk about today, when, again, it's convenient for him. Speaking of the future, Chuck Schumer actually exposed McCarthy or Speaker McCarthy, that he was the one that asked for the can to be kicked down the road, over a year. The Democrats did not ask for that. McCarthy went ahead and just volunteered it. And his explanation was he didn't want to negotiate again next year because he felt like we were going to be in a weaker position, or they were going to be in a weaker position. That doesn't sound like leadership to me, bro. Here's some things that concerns I have about this bill. McCarthy, he explained or attempted to explain, or his version of some of the concerns, right? So one of the concerns for me, remember when Biden signed the executive order for 87,000 IRS agents? And this is right after they cleared, IRS agents to buy, all these, weapons, shotguns, guns, Why does an IRS agent, what do they need guns for, bro?
They're going hunting.
Yeah, going hunting. So
they are hunting for us.
You better believe it. Mm-hmm. So everybody, there was a huge cry about it, and so McCarthy said, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of that." Brother, he did not get rid of the 87th. This bill actually allows them to go ahead and hire them. Oh, not this year. That's it. Not this year. According to Kevin McCarthy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He postponed it. He's kind of talking around it without saying it. He's saying, no, that's incorrect what you're saying. But no, and Breitbart is reporting, speaking out those numbers, that the CBO estimates debt ceiling deal will cut debt by 1.5 trillion. And I think over the years, they've been very inconsistent on their estimations, though.
Here's the problem with that number, 1.5 billion. Okay.
Trillion. That is.
Trillion. Yeah. Now, that's great. But here's the thing. The bill that they passed, it gave, President Biden and the Democrats pretty much a blank check, bro. And so there's a date on it. But there's no limit. And that's the issue. That's the problem. The date is a year from now, but there's pretty much no more debt ceiling. Now they can pretty much spend. So what I've heard is that they can actually, they'll probably end up spending up to $4 to $5 trillion. Brother, if we're talking about saving 1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that's wrong with this. My main concern is we have this new type of government, right? It's called the coalition government. And on the conservative side or the Republican side, you have Kevin McCarthy, and then you have the Freedom Caucus. You have, all these different groups getting together, and they're supposed to work together. Now, you just said earlier that only 149 Republicans voted for it. Yeah. That means that Kevin McCarthy actually needed Democrats to vote for this bill, which they gladly did. What Kevin McCarthy did last week, he threw the conservative coalition, out of the Congress House, and he invited in, Joaquin Jeffries, to come in, and so now he's working with, he's pretty much going to have to work with them now to pass bills. That doesn't sound like the guy that's supposed to be the head of the Republican Party. Yes. If you're making these deals and you actually need the Democrats to pass this thing with you, so it is a huge mess.
He was just happy that AOC didn't vote for it. That's but that's so far extreme.
Yeah,
but in the Senate, we're talking about numbers. In the Senate, only 17 voted for it, while 31 voted no.
I know that's what it sounds like, bro, but it's not just only 17. That's alarming. Yeah. When you really look at the details of this bill, how could one Republican was too many for that?
And more no's than yeses in the Senate. Mm-hmm. Those are call them the dinos, whatever you call them.
The rhinos and dinos. The uni party.
Speaking of being armed, some actually trying to disarm while the IRS is being armed. And that's a new bill that is being proposed by Representative Andrew Clyde. AR pistols registered with ATF will be illegal in 5 states. I know, Lodi, you have a lot to say about this.
No, just real quick. The thing is, so Andrew Clyde, I bring this up because some of these Republicans were actually threatened, in order to vote, for the bill. And one of the things is he was told if he doesn't, if he keeps trashing, the bill, they're probably not going to bring up his bill, which is this one that you just mentioned, Philville, because they just passed a bill that's, if it's not stopped, is going to criminalize over 3 million Americans, those who own this type of weaponry. You're gonna, if the Congress doesn't do anything about this, if you own the type of weaponry that this bill is speaking out against, the FBI, you think that them spying on you is a big deal? Well, wait until they come to your door and actually come to pick you up with your weapons.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Democratic candidate, and also the son of Bobby Kennedy, back in the 60s, 70s, right?
Yeah, tragedy.
Yeah, tragedy there. But he's running for president, and he's getting a lot of traction on his side. But he was trying to open an Instagram account some time ago, and they denied it because the email was about his campaign. And he tried a few times. I saw a little thing on him that he made 2 or 3 attempts, I think, and they kept on denying it. So now, fast forward, they have finally granted some time. I'm trying to find the time. It took quite a while. Looks like after, here it is. Kennedy Jr. has been reinstated after being blocked from the social media platform in 2021. Wow. For repeatedly sharing debunked claims about the coronavirus and vaccines. Oh, wait, those things are now true.
They don't want to see Junior, bro. They don't want to see Junior, bro. This guy, he's too common sense for them. He's way too common sense for them. You can find a lot more dangers left, than Robert, Jr. It's I'm glad that he got his account up. I'm glad that he's got a bigger push. I'd prefer that he would win, the Democrat nominee for presidency, because he reminds me of the old school Democrats, like my pop, my dad, my parents, and a lot of hardworking, blue collar liberals, So I'm glad that they're getting a push, because, bro, let's be honest. I think the ones that's hurting the most from a lot of the current Democrat leadership are Democrats themselves. Are your everyday, call them rank file, whatever you want to call them, Democrats, that they just want the best for their families and all that. And I'm glad that Robert, RBK is out there, because he represents those Democrats.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of policies maybe we don't agree with, but we can definitely agree on some things that are very common sense. I mean, who would ever think that Bill Maher and Elon Musk and even Joe Rogan, the Democrats will be canceled basically because they seem conservative now.
What do we always say? You leave them alone by themselves long enough, they'll eat themselves.
But it's a happy anniversary to What is a Woman? Daily Wire documentary. Yeah, Matt Walsh produced it. Great documentary. I think we talked about that. So it was a lot of great takeaways there, and people were really up in wars because he was calling people out, and actually he was just letting them talk, and it did not make sense. And so they tried to post it for the anniversary, gave it free on Twitter, and Twitter, the company, blocked what apparently and mistakenly, supposedly. But then Elon Musk got involved after the uproar of the right, and he shared the link himself. Loda, do you think this was deliberate? Do you think it was an accident, or just kind of somewhere in between?
And well, again, if they don't want to hear from Robert Jr., they're not going to want to hear from Matt Walsh. I know that the difference is to Twitter and Instagram and all that. As far as if you ask me about Elon Musk role in it, bro, I don't know if he's that. I mean, what is he disconnected from his companies? This is only Twitter we're talking about. I'm pretty sure he's aware,
He doesn't know.
But then again, I'll give him that. You know how I feel about Elon Musk. I'm not a fan. I'm not a musketeer, But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He did go ahead and put up that link. Now I want to see, was there any reprimands? Was there any action taken by Elon Musk? If he's what was done after that?
I the link that you referred to a moment ago here, I have the tweet on the screen right now. It says, his tweet says, every parent should watch this. So he was trying to show that he's trying to give a big endorsement, that it wasn't him. It was his minions, I guess. So he shared that link. And another tweet that we got some controversy here in the studio a moment ago is that he said consenting adults should do whatever makes them happy, provided it does not harm others, but a child is not capable of consent, which is why we have laws to protect minors.
Well, I love what our producer said, Matt White. I mean, he made a good point, that when you take that route, I can speak personally for myself, you're kind of putting it on the kids and making this a childish thing versus an adult thing. Wrong is wrong. That's it. Bottom line is wrong is wrong. I don't care if you're a child or you're adult. There's things that are just wrong regardless of your age. So this explanation kind of gives you an out from really making that stance.
I see it. I am pro-Christian and pro-American. And sometimes
then you're a Christian nationalist.
A Christian nationalist. Watch out. I am pro-God, but sometimes when you are pro-God, you have to be pro-freedom because people have the free will to be idiots. So, right?
Wow. Jeez. I was pro-rude.
Okay, sorry. People have the right to be
pro-stupid.
Okay. Not wise. All right.
Wow.
Okay, so in honor of Pride, yes, Lodo, it's been a while since we kind of gotten together and talk about this, but we know a Target a while back. Had some tucks and some questionable things for our children, and raising more than eyebrows. They're raising parents' blood pressure because
well, actually, they're only raising eyebrows because they ain't raising money. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're. But yeah, Target, they lost a lot of money. I remember it first started it was $7 billion, $9 billion. Yeah. Now, as of today of this recording, I think it's around somewhere $13.8 billion in the stocks, and people are upset. I mean, my household here. I mean, we are. I talked about it here at Target. We kind of put a pause in the shopping at Target, and we've been pretty consistent. I have no motivation. I'm not saying if we have an emergency, they won't, that way. But yeah, a lot of people, heard a lot of pastors' messages like they're talking from the pulpit, and they never talk politics. But like this is just crossed the line, taking a little junior and making him to something else. But Lodo, are you still upset about it?
Bro, you said something. There's another buried lead there. You said something that, I'm not saying I want, in case there's an emergency. You said earlier we're pro-Christians. We understand what the Bible says about the end times, and that people will be forced to take on a certain, something in order for them to buy and sell things, right? Yeah, So what do you think is the end game here? Target, even Walmart and them, they have this relationship with our government that, it's pretty concerning. And it seems like it's all the mom and pop shops that are being destroyed by the policies of the current administration, and so who's to say that with this whole digital currency thing, no more cash society, that they force us to a place where you can't shop anywhere else but these places. So that's the buried need for me in what you just said. As far as Target, no, I'm not upset. I'm encouraged. I'm extremely encouraged. Like I say all the time, it's so good to see people stepping up. It's we've been encouraging that on this show. And one of the ways they've been speaking up is, hey, money talks, don't it?
Target has gone crazy. Target is not hitting that target any longer. They're off the mark now, Target. And so, of course, another franchise, the LA Dodgers, they hosted. Man, I remember over our little break here, I saw this, and it was just like so disturbing. We have a little bit of a censor here, but there is a video of somebody depicting a crucifixion and strippers stripping a male stripper dancing on poles and dancing around the cross. Is beyond sacrilegious. This is just like, don't use this word very much, but just demonic. Just like the whole what's happening there. Little your take.
So what Philip is talking about is this group. They're called the Sisterhood of Perpetual Indulgence. Yeah. And this is what they do. The primary target are Catholics. And so, man, I thank God because people are stepping up. They're speaking up and they're speaking up in unity, against things like this. They want to do this in their own homes and all that. This is America. But the problem is this is going to be celebrated in the middle of a professional baseball game via, who is it? The Dodgers, the LA Dodgers, which I'm not a fan of Dodgers anyway, but this is very concerning. I think this has been covered on other medias, bro. They're going to be honoring the Sisterhood of Perpetual Indulgence, I believe, June 16th, which is Pride Month. Yeah, but it's called the Community Hero Award to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yep. Yeah, which is, it flies in the face of people in LA and the Dodgers, which is, I believe, 30% Catholics.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't even include, other Christians. That doesn't include just your regular common sense, normal, everyday family folks that do not support things like this. And for Dodgers to just force this on their fans, and force this on their community, it's sad, but we're saying this because this leads to other things. Philville, I believe it's tomorrow that they're going to be bringing them in to honor them in Sacramento, bro.
Yeah.
It's our own state senate that's going to honor these folks.
They're honoring them, and they're honoring them there at Dodgers Stadium. But you got to worth noting that they actually uninvited them.
Yeah.
And then the whole trans community just went crazy, and somehow they got their voices were louder than a lot of the pro family they're louder than the pro family side of everything, and they actually re-invited them back. And like you said, they're now going to Sacramento.
Yeah,
they're being promoted.
So a lot of people are surprised that they were invited back. Like, wow, how can they have a bigger voice than us? We're going to find out, in the near future, how powerful the global movement is. There's forces behind things like this that is global. And for these companies, they're looking to that, and they want to appease those folks. It's not the same thing, but this is the understanding that Vince McMahon had. A lot of WWE fans were very critical of the way that Vince McMahon would run the company, because Vince McMahon would push people that fans did not like. Roman Reigns had to spend 10 years, being, trying to be the baby face, trying to be the good guy in the company, but everybody booed him like he was the worst thing that happened since sliced bread, but Vince McMahon wasn't looking over here in the national market. What Vince McMahon was looking at was a global market. He knew that there was a bigger audience out there, and we see how wise this move was, economically or a business decision, because what just happened a couple weeks ago, they just merged, WWE with the UFC. WWE is worth $9 billion now. This is a company that Vince McMahon bought from his dad, which probably didn't cost any more than $1 million. Now it's worth $9 billion. So I just said that to explain, for those who's wondering, like, wow, like my goodness, all they got was a letter and they folded and no, there's bigger forces behind things like this. Now here's the issue, because like I said before, Phil, if Dodgers wants to do this, hey, it's their business. They want to do that, they do that. The fans that want to support this, they'll show up. They'll show up. I'm praying that the fans that don't support this won't show up. The difference between this and Sacramento runs on your dime, taxpayers. Sacramento runs on your tax money. All the California citizens who pays taxes, that's your coin that they're honoring, things like this with. That's what the problem is, because I know without a doubt, bro, that that not all taxpayers support something like this.
Yes,
Target is example number one, maybe even Bud Light.
Yeah, all of them, they're using their pocketbook to protest.
Yes.
They're really taking a stand. I mean, that's what they listen to. They don't care about you. They care about the bottom line, the bottom dollar. And there's even the players are speaking out. Here's one quote here from Blake here, and I have it on the screen now. People like baseball for its entertainment value and competition. The fans do not want propaganda or politics forced on them. The debacle with Bud Light and Target should be a warning to companies and professional sports to true to their brand and leave the propaganda and politics off the field.
Amen.
Honoring the class of 2023 on Fox Carolina, there was a report here, that graduation speech that went viral there in the community for her Christian faith.
Even if you accomplish all of your dreams or none of them at all, you are still valuable and you are still good enough because you are made in the image of God.
These are the parting words from valedictorian and senior class president Lydia Owens to her graduating class at Woodmont High School. In the 3-minute speech, Owens shares how her decade-long definition of success was redirected 2 years ago.
I had that reality check almost 2 years ago when my mom passed away. When tragedy struck my life, it was not my grades nor my accomplishments that helped me navigate through that loss. When everything else in my life felt uncertain, the only person that I could depend on to stay the same was Jesus.
Owens says her mom was her biggest inspiration.
Well, she always pushed me to be my best self. She always encouraged me in my faith. She's the reason that I had such a strong faith. She was the example to me of how to be a godly woman and how to love people intentionally.
But it wasn't always easy.
I got really into a hard place where I was really doubting God and just his plan for me was. I didn't understand how God could use such a terrible tragedy in my life for his glory.
Her father, Brian, says apart from their faith in Christ, they had each other to lean on.
Well, right after her mom passed away, I talked to the whole family and just said, I don't really know where we go from here. I don't know really what we're going to do, but whatever we're going to do, we're going to do it together.
Also just remembering that's what my mom wanted me to do. She wouldn't want me to be sad and just give up. She wanted me to be my best and she wanted me to keep going.
Encouraging those around her despite the hardships life brings.
You don't have to worry about whether or not you'll be successful because God promises that his grace is sufficient for us and that his power is made perfect in our weaknesses.
And again, congratulations, class of 2023. Well, that's it for...
It's your news makers and breakers.
Welcome back, family, to Extended Conversation. I like I said throughout the show, am very encouraged, by what I see and what I'm experiencing. We have a lot of people that are starting to speak up and speak back and speak out. We've always encouraged that, on this show. And one thing that we want to do is not just talk about how, about speaking up and all that, but we also want to show you how you should speak out. And matter of fact, there was something that just happened, Philville, on The View, and I think we got a great example, for those who want to know, how do I respond to all the craziness that's happening right now?
You are the first black senator elected in the South since the Reconstruction. That would be about 114 years. Yet you say that your life disproves leftist lies. And
Yes.
My question to you is, I'm the exception, right? You're the exception. Maybe even Miss Whoopi Goldberg is the exception.
Oh, she's definitely the
but we are not the rule. And so when it comes to racial inequality, it persists in 5 core aspects of life in the U.S. Economics, education, healthcare, criminal justice, and housing. At nearly every turn, these achievements were fought, threatened, and erased, most often by white violence. You have indicated that you don't believe in systemic racism. What is your definition of systemic racism?
Let me answer the question that you've answered.
Or does it even exist in your mind?
Let me answer the question this way. One of the things I think about, and one of the reasons why I'm on the show, is because of the comments that were made, frankly, on this show, that the only way for a young African-American kid to be successful in this country is to be the exception and not the rule. That is a dangerous, offensive, disgusting message to send to our young people today, that the only way to succeed is by being the exception. I will tell you that if my life is the exception, I can't imagine.
But it is.
But it's not, actually. It's
been 114 years.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is we've had an African-American president, African-American vice president. We've had 2 African-Americans to be secretaries of the state.
Man, bro, I loved how he did not accept the premise, bro. And it was just awesome how he didn't accept any of that. And that's one of the mistakes that we always make. We just accept whatever premise is presented to us. I love how this, so for you that don't know, that's listening or watching, this is Tim Scott, a candidate for presidency in 2024, but he's pushing back and he's not accepting Sunny, right? That was Sunny from, her premise that, that black people or black Americans having a good life is an exception. I love how he pushed back.
Minorities, yeah.
And here's the thing. The thing that's most important about his pushback and him speaking back to her is it wasn't emotional. It wasn't an emotional response, right?
Yeah.
It was a very factual, very informed, based on truth and not just a bunch of statistics, but he actually gave real life proof, for him, his own experience. He used his grandpa's experience, and so Sonny is talking about, black people, they're still being, held down. It's an exception that, black people are doing good and we're still living in the world. I don't know what she thinks, 50, 60 years ago. Philville, this is coming from a lawyer.
Yeah.
That has a TV show. that's black.
Yeah.
Talking about America, what hasn't changed in the last 60 years?
Yeah, there's actually got Whoopi, and you for minorities, you got Anna Navarro, and you got one Caucasian there.
Yeah. I mean, if even if you look at the screen,
two of them,
you'll see that a majority of the people on the screen are minorities, right?
Yeah. I think we had 2 minorities on this show.
But I love how Tim Scott, man, again, he's not making an emotional argument. He's making a very informational one that is informed based on facts, and I love the example that he uses, bro. There's more.
I love his quote when he's talking about progress in America is measured in generations. But I love the bigger picture of the generations, because my parents was different for them, and my grandparents were immigrants. And then, so it changed from generation to generation, but we're living the American dream.
Yes, exactly, bro. And it's so awesome because just as much as you measure, by generations our progress, bro, unfortunately, we can also measure by generation our lack of progress. And we see how, man, our community, our society has just deteriorated by looking at how things were 40 years ago and how, certain other things are nowadays. We're confused, bro, about things today.
Yeah.
Nobody was confused about, generations ago, but again, back to this family, when you respond with information, respond with facts, make sure that you know what you're talking about, and then tell the truth about you. I spoke this weekend, Philville, in Juvenile Hall about Revelations 12:11, that we have been made more than conquerors by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies, right? And the thing is, like, tell the truth about what God has done in your life. We talked about the blind man who was born blind, and how, he went through this whole thing, got healed, praise God. And you had the Pharisees come up to him and say, man, tell us about this sinner Jesus, right? This bad man, how he used witchcraft. That's pretty much what they're saying. Tell us about how he used witchcraft to heal you. And what did the blind man say? In John 9, verse 25, the blind man said, whether this guy's a sinner or not, I don't know. All I know is I once was blind, but now I see. Truth, bro. Facts. What his own personal experience. They cannot argue with that. They cannot tell him what his experience is. And the thing is, he didn't have to get emotional. He didn't have to yell. He didn't have to do any of that. He just stated the truth about what God told him. So when we respond to these things, just stick with the truth about your own experience, and yes, believe your eyes. Again, look at the screen with Tim Scott and these ladies on there. The majority of the people on this on the screen are minorities. Now, bro, we are not negating, right, the hardships, right?
Correct. We're
not negating, the experience, of our black brothers and sisters, or any of the minorities for that matter, right? Native Indians, we're not negating any of that. We're not belittling any of that, but we are belittling the great people. The great people that has put so much effort, and the great people that we celebrated just a week or so ago for Memorial Day, we belittle them when we act as if this America, this nation, this country is not getting closer to the promise of this country, that we become a more perfect union, that we could become a more perfect nation, So, but there's more to look at, bro.
Yeah, I'm reminded because something resonated with me when you talked about that the oppressed, and I think at times we have to decide, are we going to play victim? How long are we going to play victim for? And they remind me of a song. There's a worship song that says, "I'm no victim." And part of the lyric says, "I am no victim.
Thank you,
I
God.
live with a vision.
Come on,
I'm covered by the force of love,
wow.
covered in my Savior's blood." And when do we decide? Say, God, you're my Father. I don't want to wander any longer. I want to just follow you. And not say self-empowerment. No, it's more, God, give me your power. And I think that's how you talked about being a life of the overcomer, right? In the ministry. And that's what true being an overcomer is, taking responsibility and say, God, no, I'm going to put you center of my life. And I want things to be better for me, myself, and my family. We do have some winners out there that are trying to take a stand, and you can't debate facts. And I love this. Dr. Phil talking. We saw that Tim Scott was talking about some facts. Well, in Dr. Phil, he had some guests, a pro and con and one point of view here. And this was a 5th grade teacher. And well, some will say this 5th grade teacher brought the fire against the trans activists.
Transgender boys who might not have their own money to go buy tampons, if they're provided free in the bathroom, it's a huge plus.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at
If
some
your
point
chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of
They're
people
women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men. You are not a man. You can pretend to be a man, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Live your life. And tell me what a man is.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an
The
example
science.
when we've learned sex and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely
They
different
are
things.
completely different.
Completely different words.
And sex is what you're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up. The people who hate the truth, are because they see the truth as hateful. If you want to identify in any way you can, you're free to do so. But that does not mean that the rest.
What? Why consider science, brother?
Oh, I thought we were supposed to believe in science. I believe in science.
Wow. Wow. Talk about a takedown, bro. Oh my gosh. Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
The look in
How
his-
about the 5th grade teacher?
You see the look in his face was just like, really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? Well, it's a different word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say, they want to separate the two, what is it? Your sex is what you're born as and your gender is what you believe, I'm sorry, you try to explain that to, again, athletes, women athletes, real biological women that's been women all their lives since birth, who's being robbed because some guy feels like he's a girl, so he goes to this sports, what was, I forgot the gentleman's name, not so gentle, but, he conquered the college women's sports, but I think before he,
Leah Thomas?
yeah, before he thought he was a woman, I think he was ranked like 400 place.
Yeah,
in the men's swimming. Yeah.
And this one here, what started this conversation is about they wanted tampons in the men's bathroom. I mean, I won't even go for the talk about the biology of that, right?
I find that offensive.
You find it offensive?
I find it very offensive.
Yes.
What if the women run out of the tampons? The one that really needs the, them.
Yeah, it's really the very logical versus the insane. The insanity of all this now, the things you have to debate.
Shout out to this teacher, who pushed back. And again, family, this is how we respond. We don't need to accept their premise. We don't need to accept their facts, or what they consider facts and all that. No, we don't have to accept any of that. If you know the truth, then just stand on the truth and tell the truth.
Here in America, the indoctrination of June is to make it the Pride Month, which, that's what we're trying to stand against, that culture war. But you know what? I came across this in my Instagram feed, and you and I were talking. I love this new. Here's a promo here. This was happening here in Italy.
Liberamente indipendente, mamma indifferente.
For those listening, there's lots of people shouting, celebrating. And what you're seeing, this is an event called Family Pride Month. This is to promote traditional family. There's actually more people turning out for these events
That's
than
awesome,
the
man.
LGBTQ plus community and their events. So this is a big win for all of the fight of the culture wars out there. Look, man, doesn't this fire you up?
This is so awesome, bro. Like it's almost embarrassing that we didn't think of this, because it's a no-brainer and it's a great response, to the craziness that's going on today, to celebrate families. I mean, that's awesome, bro. Big win for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. I'll say this too, bro, including transgenders. It's a big win for transgenders too. Because, man, I don't care if you're transgender or not. We all need our families. We all need our family. And family is God's idea. That's why I feel, Phil, the devil is on such a rampage to destroy families. That's why he's on such a rampage to destroy parents, destroy marriages, because if he can take the head off, he can have the rest of it, And so, man, this is so awesome, bro. Amen, Philville. I meant what I said, that healthy families, it's also great, for transgenders. Because look, the thing is, when we talk about these things, and we address these things, one thing that we do keep in mind, yes, are they children and all that. But Philville, I think you'll agree with me that one thing on top of my, my mind and really in my heart are also transgenders. I want everybody to know I am pro-transgender. I'm very pro transgender because I care about transgender people, and that's why we go so hard. That's why addressing things like this doesn't make you it doesn't increase your friend list. There's really almost kind of no benefits to it, but here's the only benefit that we need, and I know I can speak for Philville. The only benefit that we need is that an adult or a child will come to know who they really are, will come to understand who they really are and what they were really meant to be. See, I shared a few times about me always trying to be something that was never meant to be until I met the person that created me. Then I found out what I was really born for. And I will tell you right now, beloved, I don't care if you're transgender, straight, homosexual, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me until you get to know God. And until you get to know why you were created, man, you're always going to miss out. There was a study, right, Philville, that just came out.
Yeah.
And it shows that what they call the quote unquote gender care affirmation, that it actually does not do anything to help. It doesn't boost any mental health, there's no benefits from that. Matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. We see how people remain depressed. Matter of fact, they increase the depression. Suicide. That's nothing new. We're not the first ones that say that. This is post surgery. This is after the transgender transition. And there's people that still feel lonely. Because those things don't change what really needs to be changed. Those things don't take you where you really need to be, and that is in right standing with God. You really want to know who you are? You really want to know who you are? A child of God, beautifully created. Matter of fact, don't take my words for it. Let's take God's word for it. Philville, can you read Psalms chapter 139, verses 13 and 14?
For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well.
This is a scripture that we shared, before on this show, but we have to share this again because you need to know you are beautiful just the way you are. You are perfect. And God loves you. When he created you right. He did it right. God does not make mistakes. What you have to struggle with, the thing that you need to wrestle with, is who gave you these ideas? Where did these ideas come from? And this again, why it's the reason why, Philville, we need to strengthen families, and we're so excited, so just blessed, by what they're doing in these other countries, that they're celebrating Family Pride Month. Man, I want to sign up for that. And for those of you that you do still feel lonely, and you do feel, I want you to know right now, you are not alone, or you don't have to be alone. That there is a family that is waiting on you, and that's the family of God. And we're not just going to spend June. We're going to spend every month celebrating that family, hopefully waiting on you, because you don't need to change yourself. You don't need to be anybody else, but just be you, and you just make us better. So hurry home. Hurry home.
Great word, Lodo. I just love that. I know it's hard for us when to accept help. You know, it's so hard for us to like realize that I can't do this by myself and I need God. So thank you for sharing that word. And thank you for being part of today's episode. It's great being back here in the studio and just do what we do. It's not easy talking about some of these issues, to be honest with you. But I know that we're called to take a stand, and I know that you're taking a stand in your life and your family life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God is doing some great things here. And God's doing great things in your life. Just continue to seek Him. Well, it's great to be back.
Praise God. Happy Family Month, everybody. Love y'all. Lord bless.
You've been listening to Overflow, the extended conversation, obliterating social norms and overrunning the cultural corrosion with righteous rhetoric and common sense. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on social media at OverflowEXT. Lord bless, and we'll see you next time on Overflow, the extended conversation.